This is Jackie Kravitz. I've been in real estate for 26 years and a real estate coach for 15, 16 years now. I have made tens of thousands of prospecting calls and I've been on thousands of listing appointments. This role play you're about to watch is exactly what I did and what I said to take 150 listings a year for several years. And if you use it, you'll be able to walk away from your listing appointments with signed contracts on well-priced listings. I trust you'll enjoy. As a real estate agent, all of you, Omar, and everybody out there, whenever possible, you should go on your appointments in person. Zoom is like your last resort. If if somebody's out of town, out of the country, it's an absentee owner, obviously Zoom is great. But the idea is to be able to do as many of your appointments in person. And this is why I said I like to take a look at your home. This is part of like not having pricing conversations over the phone and doing the research and the market analysis. Okay. Oh, hi, Omar. Jackie, the real estate agent we spoke earlier today. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me on Zoom today. I'm really looking forward to talking about how we can get your property sold again for the most money possible in the least amount of time. I know that that's very important for you. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Oh yeah, thank you for for joining me, for
Yes,
inviting me.
absolutely. And Omar, I know you mentioned to me over the phone that when we spoke earlier, that you want to get this property sold. You're not in a hurry. And at the same time, you'd like to sell it sooner rather than later because there's no mortgage here. You want to buy an investment property, which obviously it's a great thing for you to do. You have the ability to do that. So
Yeah.
the sooner the better. Yes?
For a good price, the sooner the better.
Yeah, absolutely. The goal is in
Yeah.
my goal, Omar, just so that you understand where I'm coming from. My goal with every client that I have, and it's obviously the same for you, is to sell your home for the most money possible. Negotiate the best possible terms for you because the sale price is obviously really important, but there are a lot of negotiations that happen after the contract is signed. There are terms on your contract for sale and purchase that are very important that can impact you
Yeah.
later, even after you sign the contract, before we close, that could end up costing you money, such as the home inspection, the walkthrough, the appraisal. So there's a lot involved. It's obviously we want the highest price, but you want an agent that's going to be a tough negotiator throughout. So you can walk away from the closing table with the most money possible, right?
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. So I just want to assure you that that is exactly what my goal is in working with you, to be able to provide you with all of those aspects of the sale. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
So, Omar, I know one of the things that you mentioned to me over the phone that is very important for you is that the agent that you hire is an aggressive agent. And what I hear you saying when you say that is you're looking for someone who is dedicated. First of all, someone who has the knowledge of the market and the experience to do whatever it takes to get this home sold for you quickly for the most money possible and handle every aspect of the sale. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I had a horrible experience with my first realtor when I got this house, and the last thing I need to have happen is for that to happen all over again. So I need an aggressive agent who's going to do things the right way.
Yeah. And I'm not sure exactly what happened, Omar, and I don't know that it would be relevant because I- I can assure you that I'm going to provide you with a great real estate experience, and I apologize on behalf of whoever you worked with in the past. I'm confident that we're on the right track here, and I'm the right agent for the job. And here's what I want to mention to you, Omar. I One of the things that I do that separate me from other agents, 99% of the agents, when they list a property like your home, right? We're talking here today about the possibility of me listing your property and getting it, being your agent representing you and getting it sold for you.
Mhm.
And the difference between what I do and how I work and 99% of agents is most agents are passive. It's the complete opposite. Maybe that's part of the experience you had previously. They're
Passive.
passive. And in essence, what that means is they take your listing, they obviously put it in the multiple listing service, which is a great tool. Of course, I do that as well.
MLS? Yeah.
Put your, yeah, they put your home on hundreds of websites, which everybody, I mean, you could do that yourself. You don't even need me as your agent. Maybe they do some open houses, they put a sign in front of your home. And that, see, when you think about it, Omar, if that is all that an agent does, once the house is in the multiple listing service, is on hundreds of websites, you got the sign out there. They ask you to get out of your house on the weekend so they could do an open house. They now basically sit around and wait for the buyer to come to them. They're not out looking for the buyer. They're just kind of like, okay, I did these things now. Now I sit and wait and hope and pray that it's enough and the house will sell. See, that's how most agents work.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. It actually does make sense.
Well, and I don't work that way, Omar.
Mhm.
I am an active and aggressive agent. And what that means is that Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. until noon, minimum. Sometimes, if I don't have appointments in the afternoon, this even goes on till the afternoon and some Saturday mornings. Minimum, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until noon. I am on the phone. And my job is to find people who want to sell their homes and people who want to buy homes. Just like I called you this morning out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, it was kinda random.
Right. Well, this is what I
Yeah.
do every day, Monday through Friday. I speak with 40 to 50 people a day, Omar, looking for people who want to sell their homes, looking for people who want to buy homes, because let's face it, Omar, you and I both know there is a buyer for your house out there. My job is to go find them. And this is what I do. I talk to as many people as possible so I can find buyers and sellers. And
Yeah.
the same way that I called you, Omar, and you're going to be buying an investment property, yes?
Mhm.
Yeah. I talk to people every day that want to sell and they're going to be buying another home, a smaller home, a bigger home. And I have the opportunity to cross sell. I have sellers over here that are selling and they may be the perfect buyer for your property. Or I may find someone who has a great investment property that might be perfect for you to buy. And also, I'm looking for more sellers because the more homes I have for sale, the best chance I have of finding a buyer for your home and for every seller that works with me. Because
Yeah.
here's how this works, Omar, this buyer conversation, right?
Mhm.
Most buyers don't buy the first house they see or a house they call on, because you think about it, they see something online or they see a sign and they
Well,
call me,
yeah,
right?
I looked at, like, probably 10 homes before buying this one.
Exactly, absolutely. And see, what happens is buyers, they call, let's say we list your home today and a buyer calls me, they see your property online, they have limited information on the property, no matter how great I make it look. But
Mhm.
once they get more detail on your home, they say, "Oh no, I'm only looking to spend 300,000." Well, then obviously Omar's home is not going to be the right one for you. or I need an extra bedroom, or the location, whatever it may be. And I can say to that buyer, well, I have other properties for sale that I can cross sell them. And the same thing works for you. I can get a buyer call on a property that's 45 minutes away from your house. And once I determine what they're looking for, and that's not the home they're looking for, I can bring them to your home. So you could see, Omar, the more active I am in speaking with people every day, the more potential there is for me to find the buyer for your home. I also network with the top agents in our area.
Mhm.
I know who they are. I'm going to be directly sending them information on your property. And this is important, Omar, because obviously your home, I'm going to obviously put your home in the multiple listing service, right? Like every other agent does. But there are over 5,000 homes for sale in the multiple listing service right now. So you could see how a home can get lost in the shuffle unless your agent is causing your home to stand out. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. And kind of going back to what you were saying about like cross-selling and stuff.
Yes.
At first, in my mind, it kind of played out like if she's working with multiple sellers, will she have enough time to focus on my home?
Well, you know what? I understand your concern,
Yeah.
Omar, and it's the exact opposite. I mean, I focus on selling all of the properties that I list. I don't do anything else. I am a listing specialist. That's all I do. There are other aspects of the transaction that I have specialists in those areas handle that. Yeah, my job is to find the buyer for your home and for every seller that hires me. And you mentioned the neighborhood specialist. Yes, that you were going to speak with a neighborhood specialist. And this is one of the reasons why, thank you for bringing up the cross selling. It's
Mhm.
one of the reasons why it wouldn't benefit you to work with a neighborhood specialist because they're only focused in your area. So they couldn't bring buyers that are looking 30 minutes away because they don't work 30 minutes away. They don't have any clients there. They're not getting calls from buyers over there. They're only working with buyers that have already decided and are looking to buy in your area. Now, Omar, you're a really smart guy. Let me ask you, if you're a buyer and you've already decided that you're going to buy a home in your area, as a buyer, would you only look at the properties that are listed with the neighborhood specialist? Or would you want to see every home in the area you're looking for that you already decided to buy, no matter who the agent that listed it is?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So you could see how, with a neighborhood specialist, you're limited. You're
Mhm.
limiting the amount of exposure and buyers, and you're limiting the demand. And Omar, I mean, any economics class, economics 101, more demand equals more money. You want to sell it for the most money possible. It only makes sense that we need to maximize the demand on your property, which is exactly what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
answers my question.
Awesome. So, Omar, now, obviously, in addition to my daily prospecting, I call it, right? The 8 a.m. until noon. And by the way, you are welcome to just walk into my office any day, Monday through Friday, between 8 a.m. and noon, and see exactly what I'm doing and exactly how I work. I already showed you
That'll
that's
be
what I
good.
do because I called you this morning, right?
Yeah, that'd be really cool, actually. I'll take
Yeah,
you up on that.
you're welcome to come in at any time, and you're gonna find me on the phone. One of the things that I do also, Omar, I will call a few hundred homeowners in your area, your neighbors, and I'm gonna personally let them know that we listed your home. I'm gonna give him the detail. I'm not gonna give him direct information on your home, but I'm going to tell them how much we're asking, how many bedrooms and baths, and ask if they happen to know anybody who might be looking to buy in your area.
Okay, that
So
makes sense.
we're going to
I
make
was
sure
I was
that's
gonna
going to happen.
say, well, why are you gonna tell them if they already have a home there? But I see what you're saying now. Hey, maybe they might have a family member or something like that, right?
Exactly. They may have a friend, a coworker, a family member that's looking for a home, that maybe even have seen their home, been in the neighborhood, loves the area. So again, my goal is to leave no stones unturned. That's what I do. So
Very good.
we're going to aggressively market your home in every way possible. I also speak with my past clients and people that I know, my sphere of influence. I speak with them on a quarterly basis because they actually, Omar,
Mhm.
if you're familiar with this information, the average person in our country runs into 4 or 5 people a year that's talking about buying or selling real estate. So you could imagine that by speaking with 40 or 50 people a day, and doing it consistently, which is what I do, I'm always talking to people that know somebody somewhere, and so that is exactly how I maximize the exposure and the demand for the sellers that I work with.
Yeah,
So,
God, I really wish my last realtor was this way.
well, I'm happy that we met, Omar. That's just water under the bridge. You're not dealing with them anymore. I'm here. I'm confident that I can get the job done for you. And Omar, I send you. Do you have any questions about the marketing, what I do? Because I know that was very important to you. So before we move on, any questions about that?
No, I think I have an idea of what MLS upload, websites, you're gonna
Yeah, all of the
definitely
things,
yeah.
all of the things that other agents do, professional photography and a video. The only thing I don't do that a lot of agents do is open houses, Omar. I'm not going to waste your time and get you out of your house on weekends because, as I mentioned to you before, most buyers, when they call on a sign or they see a property online or they walk into an open house, they don't buy the house that they walk in. Open houses even less because the buyers are driving down the street, they see a for sale sign, they don't know the price, they don't know how big it is, they don't know how many bedrooms it is, they just walk in. I mean, the odds, and there's a lot of research on this, that they're going to buy your house is it's like so slim.
Yeah, I
It's
never
a
thought
waste
about
of
that.
time. Yeah, it's a waste of time. I mean, now the reason why a lot of agents do it is because this buyer walks in, your house is not the right one for them, and the agent says, "Oh, no problem. Tell me what you're looking for, and we'll set up a time tomorrow, and I'll take you out and show you other homes." The agents do it for their benefit, so they can get buyers. They know that the chances of a buyer walking in and buying your home are slim to none. So I'm not gonna waste your time doing that. As
That's
I
good.
told you, Omar, Monday through Friday, I am aggressively looking for buyers and sellers, and we're going to get this home sold for you for the most money possible in the least amount of time. So, do you have any questions about this?
Nope.
We're
So
good?
far so good. Yeah,
Okay. So, the only thing left to do, Omar, is for us to look at the market analysis. I send you that via email. I mentioned to you if you could
I
please have
got
it
it.
on a browser, yeah, so we can together look at this information and determine what is the highest price that we can sell your property for in today's market. Okay.
Okay.
So, do you have it open on a browser there?
I have it on my phone right here.
Okay, excellent. So, Omar, there are two parts to the market analysis. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. It's okay. We're going to look at it
I
together.
look at it.
Yeah. The first part are other homes that are available for sale in your area that are similar to yours. Yeah. Similar
Mhm.
in terms of you have a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, you have 2,600 square feet. Yes.
Pretty close.
Yeah, so the first part of the market analysis are 4 other properties that are currently for sale in your area. Now, the reason why I included that for you to take a look at is it's very likely, Omar, that when a buyer comes in, they're interested in your property, they're likely to also look at these 4 other homes because they're similar, it's in the same price range. So you're basically competing with these other homes. Okay. Now, the part of it that's not so relevant about those 4 is that they're not sold. They're for sale. And obviously, we want to get your home for sale, but we want to sell it for the most money possible. And we want to do it sooner rather than later. And it's very important, Omar, that your home be the best value, not necessarily the lowest price, the best value in your neighborhood, because the best value is the one that's going to sell next. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
well, and here's something for you to think about, because I know you hesitated a little on that, Omar. Here's what I want you to consider. If your
Okay.
home is not the best value, if another home is the best value and they sell before you sell, your price helped them sell. Because buyers are going to compare. I mean, you would as well. You said you looked at 10 homes before you bought this one. You're not just going to walk in and buy the first house you see. Yeah. You want to see every home that fits your criteria, that's in your price range. And then you're going to compare and say, okay, well, this has this location, these features, this size, this number of bedrooms, that's the price. Okay, how does it compare? That's what a buyer does. That's what you did. And I'm sure that's what you're going to do when you buy the investment property too, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 So again, the reason I included those properties is because we want to make sure that we are the best value. And you could see that one of them, the very first one on the list, they're very similar home to yours in a lot of aspects.
Mhm.
And they're asking 485,000. Did you see that one?
And then like, when were these sold?
Oh, these are not sold. The first 4, there are 2 parts to the market analysis. The
Okay.
first 4, they're not sold. They're for sale right now. And
Okay.
the last 4, they're actually sold. So we're going to look at those in just a minute. So
Okay.
the 485, that house is for sale right now. And they've been for sale on the market for 67 days, almost going into 3 months. Okay. And they're not sold.
Long
Now,
time. Yeah.
now, yeah, your home, Omar, honestly, is a little bit better than their home, even though it's the same number of bedrooms and baths. Square footage is similar. I know you've done some work and you've remodeled the kitchen. So you have some features in your home that make it more attractive. But the basics of the home, the size, the square footage, it's all the same. Okay. And then there's another one there that you could see that is also for sale. That one is asking 498,000. Do you see that one?
Mhm.
Yep. And that one has been for sale. Again, they're all very similar. I wouldn't include anything that's completely different than your home because that would make no sense. We want to be able to compare apples to apples. Even though one might be a green apple and one is a red apple, they're still apples. So we don't want to get we can really, it doesn't make sense to compare your homes to others that are much bigger or much smaller, because what I did in preparing this market analysis, Omar, is similar to what an appraiser does. Yeah, you know, when you bought this home, if you got a, did you get a mortgage when you originally bought it? No
No,
mortgage. No.
no, no.
Yeah.
But I'm
Well,
familiar with the appraisal process.
Yeah, so when a buyer, and most buyers do get a mortgage, by the way, Omar. Yeah. So they go to a lender, and the lender, before they can approve that buyer for the purchase, they send an appraiser out to your home. And that appraiser, they're not going to look at homes that are for sale. They're going to look at recent sales. And the second part of the research are the recent sales. And they compare homes that are similar. And if they're not able to find homes that are exactly the same size, square footage, then they make adjustments if they have to use a home that's different. So the adjustments in price will actually even it out. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, so the bank's gonna look or the appraiser is gonna look at what's sold in order to determine a good price where it needs to sell at, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the appraiser is gonna give the bank, say, well, that's how much this property is worth, because the bank is not gonna finance, or it's not gonna approve a loan for a higher price than what the property is worth. Because then, if for some reason, imagine the buyer defaults, doesn't pay, and they foreclose, they end up holding a note for a much higher amount than the property is worth. So banks are very careful with that, especially in this day and time. You know, back in the late 2008, 2009, that's this appraising properties for really high prices and them selling for very high prices. One of the things that created that real estate recession. It's not the only thing, but it's one of, so banks are very careful with that these days, and you could understand why, right?
Yeah, I'm sure the bank's not gonna do anything that doesn't make sense.
Correct. Okay, so let's go back to, so you see the recent the properties that are available for sale. We have the 485, we have the 498, and then we have two that are, one is 115 and one is 120,000. So those are the four that I found. Okay. Now,
I see that.
more important than the ones that are for sale, Omar, are the ones that have recently sold. So I actually selected three that most compare to your home. So let's look at those carefully together here, okay?
Sounds good.
So the very first one on the list, you see that property is at 123 Main Street. Are you familiar with this property, Omar?
I drove by it a lot of times since I'm pretty close to it, but I've never been in there.
Okay.
Looks pretty good from the outside, but never been in there.
Okay. Okay. So you kind of know the location and the property, but you haven't been inside.
That's correct.
Got you. So this one, you could see it's 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, similar to yours. This one is 2,450 square feet approximately. So a little smaller than yours, but not much, by 50 square feet. So it's very similar. The location is also similar to your home. And this one sold, it actually closed about 3 weeks ago. You could see the closing date. The information is there as well. And this one sold for 485,000.
A little low, but I see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have the second one there. You see that one? It's on the corner of Main Street and Banana Street.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that one, Omar, is actually the most similar to your property. I think it's actually the same layout of your home, built a year before your property. So very similar location. The lot size is very similar as well. And you could see there's some information there on the description of the property. They had also remodeled the kitchen. The property had a new roof, even though that's a maintenance item. So they had done certain things to update the property. And that one sold for 497,000.
A little more, but still a little low,
Yeah,
right?
this is a little bit better. That's 12,000 more than the other one, right? And
Mhm.
then, yeah, the last one there, it's right in the middle. Again, you could look at all the information, bedrooms, baths, square footage. Are you familiar with that last property there? Have you been inside that home by any
Yeah,
chance?
this one I've been inside multiple times.
Oh, you have been.
This one, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that one sold for 490,000. How would you say that property compared to yours?
Not as nice, Jackie. I've got the bricks, I got the trees out, I got the orange trees, the apple trees. Not as nice.
Okay, well, the brick, I could actually see it in your video. It looks really beautiful and the arches and all. And so, well, here's the good news, Omar.
Mhm.
That one sold for 490,000 and your home is, by your own words, a little bit nicer, so you might be able to get a little bit more. So that's good
Okay.
news, right?
Yes.
So here's what I got to ask you now, Omar. You saw this information with me. You have it all there.
Mhm.
So based on all of this information and understanding how important it is, even for appraisal purposes, that we sell your home for a price that it can appraise at. What price do you think we need to list your property
Yeah.
for so we can get it sold for the most money possible in the least amount of time?
So, why don't we try the 550, and if someone wants to buy the home, they can submit their offer, and then, if we accept the offer, the bank can come out and do their appraisal, but why don't we just start at 550?
I hear you, Omar, and that's an option. And
Mhm.
I I I understand in working with other sellers, I would imagine from your perspective, you're looking at this thinking, hey, why not at least try? Right? What's the harm in trying? Because I would
Especially
imagine
because
that
I'm not in a rush, Jackie. Remember how I was telling
right.
you, like, if it doesn't sell for what I want it to, it's not the end of the world, but I do want my
Yeah.
apartments. But
Yeah.
550, Jackie, is really where I wanna be,
Yeah.
even if it takes longer, and you told me you're an aggressive agent, you're gonna do what's fair.
Absolutely 100%. Omar, I can assure you that if I can't sell your property for 550, no one can. Not only I'm the best agent to get you the highest possible price, I think I mentioned to you over the phone, I'm going to be a tough negotiator every step of the way. Because once we get that contract signed and we negotiate the terms, the next thing that's going to happen is the buyer is going to hire a home inspector. And the job of that home inspector is to come out and nitpick your home and find enough things that would benefit the buyer in that inspection report so they can get money out of you. This is after we negotiate the price. So there are a lot of things that I am confident I'll be able to negotiate on your behalf. So, Omar, obviously, I know you want to sell it. I know you want to get the most money possible. And I would imagine that if we price it higher and we're not getting activity, we would be able to adjust the price down. Yes. You're muted, Omar.
So I'm willing to do that, but I don't wanna be dropping the price like $25,000, in a week. I'm not in a
Right.
rush, so
Well, so
I'm willing to drop it.
here's what I want to propose with you, Omar. I just want to give you something to think about. And I actually have some information and some graphs that I can show you so you
Mhm.
can understand what I'm going to say to you next.
Okay.
The homes that sell closest to asking price are also the ones that sell within the first 2 weeks of being on the market. So the initial time on the market is very, very critical because when we put a house for sale, it generates a lot of activity. Buyers that are looking for homes like yours, they're going to come out and look at your home. Now, I want you to think about this. Remember what we said. They're not just looking at your home. They're going to look at the other 4 homes that are for sale that are similar to yours. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So now they're going to see your home for 550. and their agent is likely to sell to them, say to them, "Oh, you like this one for 450? Wait until I show you the one down the street for 485." Remember what I mentioned to you, Omar, that you're either going to be the best value in the next one to sell, or you're going to end up helping your competition sell.
Goodness gracious, that's a good point. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is one of the dangers of pricing your home at 450. And then knowing that the homes that sell closest to asking price are the ones that sell the fastest. If we put your home on the market and we go, I know you're not in a hurry, so that's not the issue. The issue is that if your home sits on the market for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and it's not sold, imagine, Omar, buyers actually start to wonder, what's wrong with that house? I mean, it's been on the market for 2 or 3 months. Why hasn't it sold? I mean, something's got to be wrong with this. And it's just a normal response. And what
Exactly.
happens in that situation? Hang on, Omar. I'm sorry. I don't definitely want to hear what you have to say. What happens in that situation is when buyers start to wonder if something's wrong with the house. Now if they decide to make an offer, they're going to make a low offer because they're thinking this has been sitting there for a while. So let's just make a low ball offer and see how the seller responds. Like, you don't want to be in that position. You want to be able to sell the home for the highest possible price, generate a lot of activity initially so you can move on and go buy that investment property, right?
Yeah, so what are you suggesting that I list at to get the top dollar?
That is a great question. That is, I have a price in mind, Omar. And at the same time, and it's not that I don't want to tell you my suggestion or recommendation, but you're looking at the same information that I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So when you take another look at that market analysis, Omar,
yeah,
the
better.
recent sales, the ones that are for sale, what price do you think will put your home in that position of being the best value? So it's the next one to sell.
What if we do like 515 instead of 550?
515 is definitely better, much, much, much better. Um, and again, Omar, see, if we were to find a buyer, help me out here, okay? If we were to find a buyer that was willing to pay 515,000, do you think it would appraise?
Maybe I've got the trees, I've got the bricks, I've got the oranges, the apples. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, remember, Omar, the recent sales, right? We have
Mhm.
a 485, we have a 490 and a 497. And the 490 is the one you told me you've been in that property. And yours is nicer because they don't have the brick and they don't have the fruit trees. But
Yeah.
the one that sold for 497 actually had the same features that your property has. So
So,
how do you think that it could possibly appraise for 515?
well, what can we do to get the appraisal to be higher? Is there anything is there anything we can do?
I mean,
Photos, maybe? Better
unless,
photos?
unless a similar property to yours sells before yours do, in which case now you're helping them sell. If somebody sells before you do, is because theirs was a better value and they sell it for 515 or higher, then maybe that sale would come up, bring the price up. But that would have to even be a cash buyer, because how are they going to appraise for 515 unless they have something extraordinary, and none of the ones that are for sale have that. So it's like a needle in a haystack we're talking about now, Omar. So, look, I'm not trying to talk you down on the price. My job is to get you the highest price, the best terms, and negotiate in the best possible way until we get to the closing table and you get your money. That is my job. And I
So
can assure you that job will be done. But I do need your help in coming up with a price that's going to allow us to get this done for you. So, what
505, 505,000. I already went down
so,
45.
so Mar, how about this?
Okay.
Well, and you know what? 505, I mean, we're getting really close now, right? To the recent sales. So we're getting close. My concern with the 505, and I'll tell you what that is. Buyers tend to look at properties on price ranges, so when you're 5,000 above that 500,000 range, right? If a buyer says to their agent, well, I don't want to spend, I can't, I'm not able to get a mortgage, or I can't afford more than 500,000, the agent is going to go in the multiple listing service, and when there's a price point there, they're going to put 500,000 minus under 500,000. So that buyer might be able to, they might be willing to pay you 499.9, but if they're not approved for more than 500, they won't see your home if you're at 505.
So those
That really
$5,000 can hurt
concerns.
me.
I'm sorry.
So that 5 grand can hurt me if I decide to
Well,
leave it there, right?
yeah,
Hey, well,
that's, yeah.
I hate to say this, but I mean, what do you think about 499,999?
I second that. I think that is the right thing to do, Omar. So let's do this. Great. I know you know what? Better than me. You asked me a few minutes ago, what's my opinion? See, now you and I, we've come to the same conclusion. Yes?
Mm.
Yeah. So let's do this, Omar. One of the things I sent you via email was that the contract to list the property. So you could see there, if you open that on your browser,
Yeah.
yep, your name is up there, the property address, the expiration date, the commission, all the information is already filled out. All I need you to do is where it says price, type in 499, 999, and then you could just click the button to sign, and we're all done. We'll get this done for you.
What's the commission, Jackie?
The commission, you could actually see it right there at 6%, Omar.
That's a little steep.
Well, and I mentioned to you over the phone, Omar, I'm not the cheapest agent in town. And I would imagine, think of it this way, Omar. If you were involved in a court case for $500,000, you wouldn't want to hire the cheapest attorney in town to represent you in court, would you?
No. Um,
That
so
is what is at stake here. It's your equity on this property. And I'm confident that I'm the best agent to represent you in the sale of your home. So let's just click. There's a button there, Omar. It's like electronic signature. We'll get this done and get this home sold for you.
yeah, can you meet me in the middle at 4? 2% to the listing agent, 2% to the buyer's agent?
That's just not possible. And it wouldn't benefit you, Omar. I mean, my commission is 6%.
Mhm.
And it's going to benefit you to actually offer the 3%. It's the right thing to do. We'll get this home sold for you for the most money possible in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. So just click on the signature button. Look, Omar, I know this is a big decision for you, and I am confident that when all of this is done and throughout the process, you're going to be really happy that we're working together.
Okay, what about 5%?
Yeah, the commission is 6%, Omar. All you need to do is just click that signature button, we'll be all done. And like I said, would it even make sense, Omar, for you to hire an agent?
I
Because
can
they're giving you a lower commission. And then when it comes time to negotiate your price, I mean, think about this. If an agent is willing to cut their own commission just to earn your business, how strong could they possibly be when it comes time to negotiate on your behalf? Because it's not even their money now. Now it's your money.
yeah. I'm just
Omar,
thinking yeah.
I have the courage to defend my commission because I believe that I'm gonna offer you all the value of what you're paying for, and I'm gonna be just as tough in negotiating on your behalf. And that's the kind of agent you want, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get this done, Omar. You're gonna be really happy that we're working together.
Okay, Jackie. That's fine. I just signed it on my phone.
Okay, great. I look forward to working with you. This was so fun. This was awesome. Thank you for being tough.
Jackie, no
That
problem.
makes it for such a great role play. So before we wrap this up and end this video, give me some of your observations, Omar. Like for you've been in real estate for how long? It hasn't been a year yet, right?
Been like less than 2 months.
Less no, wait. Really? I thought it was mid.
So I had my license, since July last year, but I haven't been with a broker. I've been not with the broker
Right.
until last 2 months.
Yeah. So the last 2 months, you've joined my training. I spoke with you yesterday. You said you have 3 listings and 1 pending sale. So not bad for first 2 months in real estate. And so since you are a new agent, and a lot of agents watching this on my YouTube channel are new as well, what from your perspective are some of the main things that you picked up from what we did here that agents should pay attention to and learn from?
I think courage, the courage you have, the relentlessness and the boldness, like, I'm over here telling you 4% commission, and you didn't back down. So I think, first of all, know your scripts, know what to say to them, and then have the courage, don't back down, you know what I mean? I noticed that about you, you're relentless, and sometimes I know you tell us not to cut people off, but sometimes you can kinda, like, jump in real quick before I start going off. So that's another good thing, like, you kinda save it, and you look ahead and you kinda sometimes you know what I'm thinking without saying it, like, when I hesitate, for example. So I think being aware is another thing.
Yes.
Um, so awareness and being very bold and confident. Yeah.
Well, and I just want to add this little piece. When I interrupt you, I always come back later and I say, okay, and you were, it's not like, but sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes we call it a pattern interrupt because this conversation is getting off track here, and I need to get it back on track. As long as it's something of value to the seller, and I come back and I'm listening. So very good, Omar. It was super fun. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Everybody watching, if you have any comments or questions on the video, make sure you put them on the comments below. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you push that subscribe button, click the bell next to it. Thanks for watching. I will see you all soon.